But yeah, Bryan Mbeumo, 65 million plus 5 million add-ons. I mean, that's a lot of money. It is. And he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He is. He's a good player. But is he that good? Is he worth that much money? I've just been having a little look at various bits and pieces with Bryan Mbeumo, and I just wanted to share a couple of things with you. I mean, last season, he played 38 games in the Premier League. He scored 20 goals, and he got 8 assists as well in a Brentford team. Okay? That's really good, to be fair. It is. It's really good. But my question is, have we overpaid? And especially if money's meant to be tight at United. I don't think it's as tight as what Jim Ratcliffe talks about, by the way. I just want to put that out there. But if it is anywhere near as tight as what Jim Ratcliffe is talking about, then 65 million for one player, plus we've also paid roughly the same amount for Cunha as well. And if we're only going to get those players, it's a tough one, really. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure he's worth that. Maybe 50 million with 5 million add-ons or 10 million add-ons. Say 60 million tops. Maybe. But anyway, I mean, that's what he says there. But it says here, okay, so here's the overview. Bryan Mbeumo is a direct, right-sided winger known for his pace, dribbling and strong finishing ability, particularly on his left foot. He excels at cutting inside from the right wing, driving towards the goal, and either shooting or finding teammates with passes. He's also a willing and effective presser, often working from the touchline inwards to cut off passing lanes. He's a player who likes to run at defenders, taking them on and looking for opportunities to shoot or cross. He's heavily left-footed and prefers to cut inside from the right wing, making him a potent threat when shooting or passing. He's a hard worker off the ball, pressing effectively to disrupt opposition build-up play and force mistakes. That's actually really good for Ruben Amorim's system. He likes hard-working attackers who press and close down to recover the ball straight away. He's got good spatial awareness and can find space both in wide areas and more centrally, making him a difficult player to mark. And he's a composed finisher, able to score with power and finesse. And Mbeumo is known for his tireless running and high work rate, both in attack and defence. Now, this is key, adaptability. He can play effectively in different formations, including as part of a front two or as a wide forward. While not known for intricate passing or dictating the tempo of the game, that's fine, he's a valuable asset for his directness, goal threat and work rate. He often positions himself on the periphery, waiting for opportunities to get involved in attacking movements. Do you know, I mean, on paper, that sounds absolutely amazing. The question now is, particularly if we've slightly overpaid for him, is that heavy price tag and the dreaded Man United microscope going to be too much for him? That is certainly something to think about for Bryan Mbeumo. And it's the same to think about with Cunha as well. I've got a feeling Cunha will be all right because apparently he's a big character, he's feisty. But Mbeumo, yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, just remember, thoughts in the comments, thoughts in the chat. The Big D wants to read what's on your mind. The Big D is always interested in what you have got to say. It's as simple as that. But let's have a little look. Karina Masson. Is there any truth in the deal falling through? I'm hearing if Wissa leaves, we won't get Mbeumo. That's a good question, really. I have heard that if Wissa goes, they're not going to sell Mbeumo. If Mbeumo goes, they're not going to sell Wissa, unless they've got someone else lined up. Because that would be attacking suicide for Brentford, to be quite fair. Maybe they were using the Wissa leaving just to speed up Man United, because Man United have been dragging the heels a little bit with this. So maybe it was just a little attempt to give Man United a kick up the backside just to get the deal done. And if that's the case, then great, because at the end of the day, we don't want this to be lingering too far into the summer. We've got a big pre-season tour coming, and we need all the players that we're going to have at the start of the season on that tour, so that all the new players can get acclimatized, get to know their new teammates, settle in a little bit so they can hit the ground running next season. Because make no mistake, the pressure's on Ruben Amorim. He's been talking for months and months and months now about this system and all of this. He needs to get the right players in, attitudes, blah, 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 blah. Fair enough. But he's had long enough now to get that team acclimatized to his system, which I think they have, by the way. And it looks like he's getting the attacking reinforcements that he wants to get that team firing. Because that team, all it needs is a goal threat. Once it gets a goal threat, that team shoots right up the table. Yes, okay. So I hope that answers your question, Karina Mason. Thank you for the question. And who's else? Isaac Sulemana after Mbeumo. Who's next? That's a good question. I was just saying there, if we get Mbeumo, I don't think we'll get a number 9, because I think he'll stick with Rasmus Højlund, to be quite honest. And I like the sound of that. Just work with what you've got. I mean, Rasmus Højlund's shown enough since he's signed that he's worth working on. He just needs a bit of confidence, and he needs to get his head in the game a little bit. And if he does that and he gets a bit more service, because in his defence as well, he's lacks service. And if Mbeumo and Cunha are going to be creative as well, which they are, then he'll get more service. And hopefully that'll calm Bruno Fernandes down a little bit, because when the team's doing badly, Bruno Fernandes tends to try and grab the game by the scruff of the neck and do everyone's job. And as much as we sort of respect and appreciate the fact that he's putting the effort in, he needs to manage his game playing a little bit more effectively, does Bruno. So that's that. But if we get him in, I mean, I'm not entirely sure who's next. This all depends on who leaves, really, because we need to get rid of Rashford, we need to get rid of Anthony, we need to get rid of Sancho, we need to get rid of Garnacho. If we get rid of all of them and we get reasonable money for all of them, then we could buy some more players. I don't think the team needs a lot to drastically improve next season. We just need firepower, really. That's the main thing that we need. And it looks like we're getting that. We've already got it with Cunha, and we're getting Mbeumo in, and then Rasmus starts scoring, and then we're golden up front. So with just those two players, I think we could challenge for top 4, no problem. But the aim is to win the league. Obviously, that's the aim. Now, to win the league, we need a new goalkeeper. Not only do we need Mbeumo and Cunha, but we need a new goalkeeper, and Onan is just not good enough. So it depends on that front. So it depends on who leaves, really. But I'm not sure we'll get a number 9 now. The more and more that I think about it, and the more and more we've left this Mbeumo deal to go, I'm not sure we're going to get that number 9, nor would we need it at that point. But who's next? I'm not sure. Who would I like to see? I would like United to be able to go out and get a new goalkeeper straight away. And for us to compete for the league, get Mbeumo in, get a new goalkeeper, and maybe, just maybe, get another wing back. And then we'll have Kobe, Bruno, Casemiro, and Ugarte fighting it out in the centre of midfield. So I think everywhere else is fine, really. So